Hey everyone, thank you for stopping by Living to Do's review of Winning Time, Season 2, Episode 5, called The Hamburger Hamlet. This episode was the best so far. So much drama, so much tension. I love the acting. I was captivated. Great job. Last episode, we left off with Magic telling the reporters that he's going to ask Jerry Buss to trade him because he's mad how Westhead, his current coach, is coaching the team. First, they show us a shot of Buss at a podium talking to the reporters. And then they quickly show us earlier that day. Earlier that day, we have the team leaving Salt Lake City, and they're getting on the bus. The team sees Riley, especially Nixon, and he wants to know from Riley, he's all, Riles, who's it gonna be? Romeo or Juliet? Talking about Westhead and Magic Johnson, who's gonna be canned for the most part. And he's all, just get on the bus, because Riley feels that his job is also in jeopardy. So he doesn't want to talk right now. Now, Westhead is heading to the bus with one of his assistant coaches, and Riley talks to him, and he wants him to talk to Buss before this gets out of hand. Westhead is real calm and cool. He just thinks that Magic is going to cool off, or Buss is going to give him what he wanted, which is a trade. The reporters stop Westhead, wanting to know about a meeting with Buss he knows nothing about. As the reporters were talking to Paul, and he's not knowing what to say about this so-called meeting, because he knows nothing about it really, but he acts like he does, Kareem intervenes. And he intervenes between Westhead and the reporters because they have built a bond between the two. And he's like kind of getting him out of a bind. Who's going to argue with big old Kareem? So we also see Magic. He's the last one to get on the bus. He's walking onto the bus very slowly. He's not his happy, jolly self. He gets on the bus, and towards the front of the bus is Westhead. That's where he's sitting. And I don't know if he's in the aisle in Magic's way. Magic just stands before him and glares at him. And then you see Westhead shift in his seat, kind of scooting over maybe, so perhaps Magic can walk down the aisle. Magic gets to his seat, and he says to the team, "You thought I was backing down? I meant what I said." So, either it's pretty much Westhead or him. And actually, he's just asking for a trade at this point. So Buss is in his office, and he's talking to Bill and Jerry West. And he's mad at Magic. He thought he's done a lot for Magic to do this to him. West feels that Westhead, he calls Shakespeare, is also in the wrong. Buss yells back at Bill and Jerry West to bring Magic to his office as soon as that plane lands. When the plane touches down, Westhead goes to lunch with his family at the Hamburger Hamlet. He goes into the restaurant with no care in the world, and he's talking to his family about what happened. His daughter's there, and his daughter believes he's going to be fired. She believes that he needs to get back to the office and talk to Buss about his job. I think he kind of thinks about it, and he goes to the office. We see him in the office, and he tries to go to Jerry Buss's office, and he's stopped. He's stopped by the secretary. And the secretary tells him that Buss is busy and he can't be disturbed right now. So he is kind of pushed away. I think he knows something's up. I mean, who reacts like that? So he turns around to leave the office, and as he's leaving, Chuck Hearn is coming out of the office screaming about he won't last a day. And then Bill Sharman comes out and he runs into Westhead. The door that he comes out of is cracked, and Jerry West is in there, and they're writing on the chalkboard. It looks like they're trying to get a list together of possible coaches. Ooh, I think Paul is kind of getting scared for his job at this point. Bill tells Paul he doesn't know what's going on. Just go ahead and wait it out. They'll get back to him. He doesn't know anything, and we'll have to wait and see. But I know Westhead saw those potential coaches' names on the blackboard in that room. Literally, the writing was on the wall, and that's why he's worried. Literally. Back in Bus's office, Magic is brought in, apparently through a back door and a side door, to talk to Bus. Why all the secrecy? He comes in, Magic comes in, confident and strong, and he stands up to Bus and his silent partnership. They have an argument. He feels that he's just being told to shut up and ball. Wasn't that what LeBron was recently told, to shut up and dribble? Bus wants Magic to make a fake apology to the press, and then Bus will come around and co-sign it, saying he forgives him and he still loves him like a son. Magic is infuriated because Bus is not hearing him, and he's done playing for Westhead. That's it. That's all. And whatever happens, happens. And then Bus is trying to reason with Magic in his way, and he brings Magic's father into the argument, which further infuriates Magic. He is mad. He's like aggressively, I don't want to say aggressively, but he's leaning towards Bus. And Magic does not want him to bring up his father. His father was a hardworking man and a good man. Maybe he didn't make a lot of money, but that doesn't mean he wasn't a good man. And so Magic says to Bus, why don't you bring your own effed up family into this? And Bus screams at Magic that he made him. Magic argues back, I earned that, because he gave him that $25 million. Magic was also hired to be a leader, he was told. But when he took that leader position and brought some information back to Bus, Bus wasn't hearing him. He wasn't hearing him, and he did nothing about what Magic was saying. And Magic was screaming back, I bet you hear me now.
Bet you hear me now.
You heard? Bus was left speechless, and Magic just left. Now, I wonder, I'm thinking that in this office, Bus's office, where this argument took place, and it's an argument, they are yelling, I think people in the office can hear. So what's the point of bringing him in through a back door? I guess that Bus didn't think it would go that far. It wouldn't be heated. People wouldn't even know he's there. And then he'd go out that back door, and then they would go to the press and smooth everything over. No problem. It just didn't work out that way. And the reason why I think everyone could hear is because Magic starts walking down in the office, out of Bus's office and out in the open where all the desks are, and you see Westhead, he's sitting in his office in a chair, and I think he sees Magic approaching, and he jumps up, and I think based on what he heard, he's telling Magic, kind of giving him a little pep talk, that he still believes in him. Magic don't want to hear from him. There's nothing he can say that Magic wants to hear at this point. After Magic leaves Bus's office, Westhead heads towards Bus's office, and he's allowed in to see Bus. And he sits down with confidence. He's talking first before Bus says anything. And he advises Bus, let's let this cool down for a couple of days. And Bus immediately responds with a calm seriousness. And he tells Paul, we're letting you go, Paul. And Paul says, I don't think that's a good idea. Who is he to say that? If it only worked that way, it just doesn't. Paul argues, Magic is just a player. There it is. Quite honestly, Bus did the same thing to Magic, not seeing him as a whole person. And that's the problem. The problem is when you build something with people that you don't see as people, the whole foundation comes down. That's an original. Bus is telling Paul, you failed. You lost in the first round of the playoffs. But then Paul argues back. He won a championship. He's not a failure. Westhead finally realizes that there's nothing he can say. They have made up their mind. And he has a little outburst, but he eventually shakes Bus's hand and he walks away. You know, that's just the kind of person that Paul Westhead was. I think he could shake a man's hand that just fired him and be a man about it and walk away. I don't think other people could. I don't know if Magic could. And anyway, sometime later, Jeannie Bus, she runs into Magic. He's actually in her dad's office. Her dad is not going to be there and he's going to do some promo. So they talk and she tells him that she thinks of him as her hero. He stood up to her father when nobody else would. And she really admired that about him. I understand that they had a close relationship, and maybe still do through his tenure with the Lakers. And maybe this is why. I don't know if that's a true story or not, but I've often heard that they're really good friends. Before Paul left Jerry's office, he asked, who's going to be the coach? And then they cut to the next scene, another scene, and West is asked to be the coach. Jerry West is asked to be the coach. And homeboy is losing it. He just can't see himself as that. I think he thinks he's going to be a failure. He's afraid of failure in the worst way. He's too high strung as it is. In a coaching job wouldn't be good for his health. The way he goes off with these tangents, screaming. I'm thinking his blood is boiling. I really wonder about his internal organs. I don't know if that man's going to have a heart attack or a stroke, but he just can't take it. But Bus explains to him that he needs him to be the coach. He's had such failure with his past coaches. The first one was shot. The second one had a terrible bike accident. In the last one, he choked in the first round of the playoffs. So he really desperately needs a good coach for his team, and Jerry West can do the job, he believes, but Jerry West himself doesn't think he can do it at all. Not at all. Bus begs. He even gets on his one knee, and Jerry West is like, don't do that. And he's begging him. Jerry West tells Jerry West, the Boston Celtics are going to steal another championship, another trophy from them, and he can't have it. And that makes Jerry West mad. He hates Boston, and that is a low blow just to say that to him. Maybe he'll stand up just to win over Boston. He hates them so much. Okay, so Pat Riley, he's in the restroom and he's scared of being fired along with Westhead. Westhead sees him in the restroom. They have a brief conversation and Westhead apologizes to Pat Riley for screwing up his thing. Pat Riley is a big man. He thanked Westhead for allowing him to have the opportunity. They part ways. Riley is still in the bathroom. I think he's a little heated because he takes water and he slicks back his hair, that signature look he had. I don't know if that was the start of it, but he slicks back his hair and he's going to go see Jerry Buss. He thinks he's on the chopping block. So he goes into the elevator and he goes to the floor where the office is. He gets out of the elevator and he sees Jerry West and Bill. They grab him by the arm and put him right back in that elevator. And he wants to know where they're going, what's happening. They take him down to the tunnel. There's a press conference going on. And the way they grabbed this man's arm and dragged him, it seemed like something bad was going to happen, not something good. So when Pat Riley is told that there's going to be a press conference, and they tell him something like, Buss wants to do this in front of the press. And so still in Pat Riley's mind, he's thinking he's going to be fired. And he's like, hold up. He wants to can me in front of all these people? No way. He goes, no, you still have a job here. You get to stay on. We get to the entrance where they're going to go meet the press. And Buss, he greets Pat Riley, Bill, and Jerry West. They're trying to get their act together. Nobody knows what's going on. They're Keystone Cops at this point. Buss is trying to tell Jerry West that he's going to be the coach, and that's not really the case. They don't know what's going on. They are just bumbling and fumbling. They get to the podium, and before anything happens, there's this scroll across the screen that this actually happened. They get in front of the podium, and it's Buss. He's talking. The press wants to know who's the coach. Jerry Buss informs the press that Paul Westhead is no longer coach. They want to know who the coach is going to be. And in a weird way, he's not straightforward. He doesn't know what to really say, but he's still up on the podium in front of all these people. The reporter's writing down stuff. People are filming things. And he's kind of saying that the coach will be Jerry West. Pat Riley will also be a coach. He's still staying on. They want to know who's going to be the head coach. Buss doesn't know what to say. He's stammering and stuttering. It's not clear. I mean, it looks very confusing. I want to see the footage on this. If this really happened, I'd like to see it. So Buss he passes the buck to Jerry West. Jerry West, I don't know if he's good at public speaking. I guess he's okay at that. He just can't coach. He comes up on the podium. He tries to say a few words, and he wants to make it clear he's not the coach, and he'll be working with and for Riley. The reporters are trying to figure out, what does that mean? No one's clear on this. And he's like, oh, they're stammering and stuttering, and he brings on Pat Riley to the podium. Now, Pat is speaking. He's in the limelight. He wants to begin to speak, and he sees Westhead with a box of his belongings headed out. He tells the press that it's not a good day for him. You know, he lost a good friend. People even comment on his hair. Somehow, some way, I don't know if that was the break that Buss needed to kind of scurry everybody off stage. Nobody knows what's going on. There's no order. There's no leadership. So it's right before a game. And Jerry West tells Pat Riley that he better not get thrown out of the game because he won't be there. You know how a coach gets thrown out, the assistant coach is now the head coach? Well, Jerry West is saying, don't get yourself in trouble because I won't even be there. I don't know why he can't take leadership at all, not even for a game, a portion of a game. He is scared to death. Goodness, all that yelling and screaming, all that bravado, this is just his kryptonite. Do not put him in a coaching position. So at the next game, we see Jerry West kind of acting like an assistant coach. He's yelling at the players and telling them, what they better not do and all this and that. But he doesn't yell at Magic or Kareem. When Magic passes him, he doesn't say anything. And when Kareem passes him, he just tells Kareem, have a good game. Then West tells Riley, when you get a chance, you get that Magic aside and you tell him who's boss. Don't you be his whipping boy like a certain someone is. And he's talking about Bus. Bus is the whipping boy. And he's telling Riley, don't let that happen. Get a hold of him. Get a hold of him sooner than later. So they're going out to the game. The team's going out to the game. And they're playing the Spurs, I believe. And when Magic and the team comes walking out, they get booed hard. Everyone's booing him. Everyone's mad because he got Coach Westhead fired. I don't know why they care that much. That's his team. But a lot of people in the press are thinking that Westhead was a winning coach, so there was no reason for him being fired, and that Magic was being acting like a spoiled brat and got his way, and they're just booing him. And Magic is surprised by all this venom, but Nixon is there to encourage him, to forget about it, play hard. And Riley is a good coach. He's telling his team, go out there, play hard, fast breaks, have fun, do your thing. The Lakers win that game. It was a blowout. But the press is writing up stuff. The fans are saying stuff. Things are in the paper. Jerry Buss is reading the paper, and he's getting very agitated about what he's reading, what people are saying about him. I think he loves being revered and loved, and everything's good and fun. And when there's an issue, you can see how he's not really responding well under pressure. His girlfriend comes in as he's reading these newspapers, negative things, sports writers that he respects, that is respected in the sports world, are saying terrible things about him. He is so upset. He kind of lashes out at his fiance. She calms him down, and they're talking. I think she's sitting on his lap, and she's trying to console him. And you literally see tears in his eyes. No, not on his eyes, tears running down his face about this. And he's very upset because they're speaking on his name. And he just can't have that. Then they have a scene, which I'm not understanding this scene, but the scene is at a roller rink. And Bus is there with his fiance, and Kareem is there with his wife. And the girls, they skate off together. And Bus is skating with Kareem. And Kareem is not happy with Bus. It was a great scene. Bus thinks that Kareem is upset with him because of the money that Magic is making. And Bus got that all wrong. Kareem, is not jealous at all of Magic and his money. He thinks that Bus took advantage of Magic because he's naive. He thinks that Magic is naive. The $25 million, Kareem says, is a life sentence for Magic. He knows in a couple of years that will be the average salary of these players. And then in 10 years, he says he'll feel like a fool because he's making $1 million a year, while everybody else is making millions of dollars a year. And then he's still mad at Bus. He thanks him for not signing his extension. He thinks he did him a favor, and he skates away from him. Then they cut to a scene where Riley doesn't feel respected. He feels like he's just being bounced around because, he doesn't know where he really stands with the Lakers with this weird coaching position. He's talking to his wife about it. He just doesn't feel respected. But he's called into Bus's office, he's called in to meet with Bus. And Bus finally tells Riley that he is going to be the coach. So Riley's very excited about this, but he doesn't have a good start to his coaching career. They start losing games. They have a losing streak. So I think that's terrible. He just can't get past it for whatever reason. But, and he's new to this. And that other coach, Westhead, he did, okay with his system. They were winning games. They weren't blowout games. They weren't exciting games. But I don't know if he had a losing streak with his system. Now that Riley is the coach and all eyes on him, he's having a losing streak. And what's bothering him, he He doesn't feel respected. The players like him, but because he's treated like one of the fellas. Where every time they have a problem, they seem to come to him with no problem. Oh, can you check someone about this? Can you check someone about that? And he's very upset because he's so stressed, with his plays. He's not winning the games. All these players with their little stupid problems in his ear. It's getting him really mad. He meets with the team in the locker room, and he's trying to coach them and talk to them, but they got their side conversations. They're still not listening to him, and he gets incredibly mad. So mad, he punches the chalkboard. I think he even broke his hand doing so. And he starts reading the whole team for filth. He tells Coop that he's not a star. And one of the other team members agree with that. I think it was Nixon. He says, just because you made All-Star and you haven't played hard since. So what's up with that? He tells Kareem, you actually already retired. You retired 2 months ago, because he's playing like he retired. Magic says a little something, and he tells Magic, you lost your step and you blamed your coach. He witnessed it. Magic didn't think he'd get that because they were buddy-buddy, but he told everybody. He even told Jerry West, his assistant coach. Now everybody's calling him Riles. He tells West that his name is Coach. Call him Coach. He seemed to have gotten the respect of the team. They huddle up before the game, and they have that little cheer, whatever you call that thing they do, and they're like, on 3, it's Coach. And I think Riley was surprised after they just got read that they still want to include him and make him a part of the team. And so they cheered him on. They said, Coach. 1, 2, 3, Coach. They went out. They won that game that night. Things are looking up. They're starting to win. He's looking good. Pat Riley wearing the Armani suits. He's looking good. Chick Hearns makes a point of saying something about the look, saying that Riley is looking like a leading man. And he did. He's always been a handsome man. So they fast forward to Bus's wedding. He gets married to his fiancée. And at the wedding, I guess it's the playoff games are playing, which is an odd time to have your wedding. Seems like you would have your wedding after the season. But he's having his wedding, and I guess there's a TV on, and Boston is playing the 76ers. They're playing the 76ers, and they lose. So they're not going to the playoffs. But after this loss in the stadium, the Boston fans start cheering on, I guess, the 76ers, because they start cheering, beat LA, beat LA. That is the chant at the game. That catches the attention of all the Lakers at Jerry Buss's wedding, and they all respond in unison with an appropriate response. Watch it and you'll see. This was the best episode of the whole 2 seasons so far. So much drama, so much went on. I've always known Pat Riley to be the coach of the Lakers growing up. I just didn't know how that came to be. And I don't know what they added to the show, but it was excellent. Excellent. I'm sure there's somebody out there who will tell us what is fact and fiction, but I enjoyed it the way they laid it out for me. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it, and I thank you in advance. One thing, I wonder how Westhead and Magic, how they get along today. I would be interested to know that. But I gotta go. I got living to do. Bye.